Hey loves, welcome back to the My Inner Struggle podcast, the space where we get real about growth, healing, and all the messy, beautiful parts in between. I'm Laura Ferry, and today I'm joined by someone whose work deeply aligns with that mission. Lucy-Anne Carney, a women's fitness coach from the UK who believes that strength is about so much more than how we look. In this conversation, we talk about the connection between movement, mindset, and self-worth, how caring for your body can actually be a radical act of self-love. Lucy shares her own story, the habits that truly make a difference, and what it means to find balance without falling into burnout or perfectionism. So if you've ever struggled with body image, motivation, or giving yourself grace on your health journey, this episode is for you. So when you're ready, grab a cup of coffee and come get uncomfortable with me. Hey, Lucy-Anne, I am so happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay, yeah. So I am a fitness coach. I support women who are wanting to lose weight. They are wanting to get strong. They are wanting to kind of reclaim their bodies, especially as they are getting into their 30s, 40s, and hitting things like perimenopause and menopause. I have been doing it for around about not long, 16 months, but I've always kind of been into fitness, well, for a long time. And I had a corporate job, a very demanding bank job, looking after instant management for a very big bank in the UK. And a couple of years ago, when I had my daughter, I found that that kind of job doesn't work with small children. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't break between 9 and 5. So I had to figure out what I was going to do next. Don't get me wrong, I loved instant management, but I love helping people more. And having been in a place of trying to fit in fitness around a highly demanding job and now my daughter as well, I wanted to make it clear to other women that they can do it. We can do it all. It's difficult with the mental load, the housework, and all of those fun things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's absolutely no reason why you can't get fit on a schedule that works for you. And yeah, I just want women to feel that empowerment. And you and I probably grew up in a place where everything was about being as thin as possible. The runways were full of women that looked deathly thin. And I'm trying to change that conversation a little bit. I do a lot on my Instagram and with my clients about trying to be strong, not skinny.
Right. Yeah. Weight actually has been something I've struggled with my whole life. And I've been different sizes. I've been different athletic abilities, things like that. Was there anything pivotal that changed for you? Because you said you weren't always into fitness, but it had changed. What changed for you, or what was that pivotal moment for you to take that leap?
When I was 18, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and it took a long time for the doctors to get my condition under control
Mm-hmm.
and get the medication right. I've now had 4 operations to try and help manage it. I feel like you need to kind of have a conversation with yourself about whether you're going to let an illness like that, define you. I've known a lot of people in my life who say, "Oh, I can't do that because," and they're letting whatever that illness is, whether it's Crohn's disease, whether it's arthritis, whether it's another long-term condition, and not to say that those aren't serious things, they absolutely are, but they let them define who they are, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want that to be me. I wanted to be able to do things in spite of. Fitness is a really good way to get over mentally these things because it makes you more resilient. You're becoming more physically resilient, but mentally you push yourself a little bit further and challenge yourself a little bit more every time. And I actually competed in a bodybuilding event 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't with the ambition of winning a trophy or becoming a professional in that field. It was just because I wanted to prove that I could do it in spite of the fact that, doctors
Limitation.
say, yeah, and
Yeah.
doctors
Yeah.
said to me, you can't have a physical job, you wouldn't be able to join the army or police or anything like that. So from a very young age, 18, you're still developing, you're being told that there's all these barriers in your way and you need to find a way through it.
Yeah, that mind body connection is so powerful. And I agree with you because I know people my own age. I'm going to be 44 next month, but it's been for at least 10 years that I've known other people that are like, I wish I could do that, but I can't because I have this. And a lot of it is that those, autoimmune diseases that, are lifelong and there are limitations. I think that if it's mind over matter in some aspect, maybe they won't be running marathons, but you could certainly walk every day, and that helps your mental health as well. And of course, strengthening, right? Strength training is probably most important for women. I don't know if that's accurate. I mean, that's what I read. What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely. And I always say to people, learn to lift your own weight. I don't care what size you are. I don't care whether you're a size 16 or a size 8, but if you can lift your body weight, you're protecting yourself into old age. So whether you learn to do a pull-up, you learn to squat your own weight, these are all things that are going to be invaluable the older you get. And it's not about being able to get a bikini picture, it's about looking after yourself. And strength training is one of the best things that you can do. You see a lot of people doing Pilates and things like that, and these are all great, but strength training, you're looking after your bones, you're looking after your cartilage, you're looking after your body so that you're going to be in the best position as you hit things like menopause, as you start going into older age, and you're struggling to maintain that muscle mass. These are all future proofing things that you can do.
Hmm. I think that what I run into with everything that I do, right? Because it all pertains to loving yourself and mental health and all of those types of things. The biggest thing that I think people struggle with, and because I'm a big proponent of the morning routine, whatever that looks like for you, but something that you can fill your cup in the morning. And I am a huge fan of Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. I don't know if you have ever read it, but it was a book that changed my life about a year and a half ago, I want to say, and just incorporating that into my morning. So he came up with this sort of system that he used, and this is what he wrote the book about squeezing in all of those things that fill your cup in the morning every day so that you can serve yourself. So we all know that being consistent with something is the biggest thing, and I think that's something that my clients struggle with the most, right? Because a lot of it is, moms, it's women specifically, but it's moms and they're navigating leaving the house for work and getting the kids on the bus and doing all of these different things. Is consistency something that you see with your clients that they struggle with? And what would you recommend to someone that's struggling with that? Like if we were here working out together and you were training me, what would you say if I was having trouble being consistent in my routine, in my fitness routine?
That's a really good question. Just do the same
Just pretend
thing.
we're working together. Yeah. Like, what
Yeah.
would you say if I'm like, Lucy-Anne, I just can't get over it. And actually, it's something that kind of is speaking to me right now as
Yeah.
I do daily walks every day, but I really need to incorporate my strength training and I'm
Yeah.
struggling being consistent with that. What advice would you give me?
Do the same thing every week, whether you go once a week or twice a week. Just do the exact same thing every time, because I speak to a lot of people who say, I go and do this class and then I go and do this class, or sometimes I'll get a video up on YouTube and I'll follow that, but I'm not seeing any changes. And that is the problem, because all of this information is so readily available, like follow this random workout routine.
Right.
Your body doesn't respond to random things. Your body needs routine. So, like you're saying, you go for a walk, your body's responding to you doing that walk. But if you go to the gym and you say, do you know what, I can only go once a week. So, if you go to the gym and you go once a week and you do a bench press and you do a squat and you do a deadlift and you do that once a week, every week, you will progress because you're working all the same muscle groups, you're doing the same thing. Your body isn't being shocked going, God, what am I doing this week? And I've got clients who only go twice a week and they'll do an upper day and a lower day. And they are
Hmm.
seeing progress. And these are women in their 40s and 50s, and they're working on things like pull ups and handstands. They're really pushing themselves, but they have full time jobs, they're carers for family members, or they have kids, and they go, do you know what, Lucy? I just can't commit to going a crazy amount of times. I can't commit to it.
Right. Because we have so many other obligations.
Absolutely. And I can't, some weeks I only go 3 times, but I'm never in there for more than an hour because it's boring. And I just
Mm-hmm.
don't have time for that. I don't have time. I'm a single mom, and I have a young daughter, and I do have some support around me, but I've also got a business to run and a
Right.
house and elderly grandparents, I can't commit to being in there every single day like you see these bodybuilders doing. That's fantastic and that's great for them that they have that availability, but it can sometimes set unreal expectations on the rest of us.
Right.
These people are getting fantastic results. It's like, yeah, because they're doing it way more than we can. You got to go easy on yourself and say, do you know what? I'm going to do the best I can with the time I have. And if that's one session at an hour a week, or that's two sessions at half an hour or 45 minutes, as long as I'm going in and doing the best I can and making the best of that time, you're going to make progress. But a lot of people, they're afraid and they're going in and they're just going on the treadmill. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you wanted to go for what, you go for what. You wouldn't be paying your gym membership, would you? You'd be
Right.
paying your gym
Right.
membership because you want to get stronger. You want to improve your body.
So when you have someone that, it's so funny because you said that you're like, we see all these people, whether it's on Instagram or scrolling through TikTok or whatever, that are achieving all these great results. I think a lot of us, especially, well, I want to say especially women, but men too. It's like you want to it's like we have this all or nothing attitude and it's almost ingrained in us, right? Like, well, I didn't, and even with nutrition too, right? Like I didn't do good this week. Oh, I guess I'll start next week, and throw it away. But you can literally restart at any point. If it's a Wednesday afternoon and you're like, I'm going to go for a run, just do it. It doesn't mean that you had to start on Sunday and
Yeah.
do it every single day. So how does your training program work? Is it virtual? Do you train there at the gym with people or what is your program like?
So they're all on an app. So I fit right in your pocket. And like I say, it's very flexible. So I have some people doing 4 days a week, some people doing three, some people only doing two, but they all get fantastic results. And it is that all or nothing mentality, and I'm trying to shift women especially away from that, because there's a lot of people who say, oh, I'm going to start on Monday, or I had a biscuit last night so that's it ruined. But this all or nothing, I've got to eat chicken, broccoli and rice or I'm going to fail, just does it's not serving people, it's not serving your
Right.
brain, it's not serving your body. And I have a biscuit pretty much every day. My daughter's there eating Oreos. I'm gonna have one. So, and I'm still doing well. I haven't got a six pack, but I wouldn't want one. I'd be too
Well,
cold.
it's moderation, right? Like, so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I say to people, so the people that work with me, if they're on like a fat loss program, I'll say, right, so this is your overall calories. This is your protein target. You hit that every day. However you do it, you hit that. So obviously I want them to be having lean meats and things like that. And your fats, prioritize your fats as well. So here's your minimum fat target. Prioritize things like olive oil, nuts, seeds, oily fish. And whatever you do with the rest of those calories is entirely up to you. Some people work better on really high carbs, some people don't. As long as they stay within the overall calories, my clients learn how to moderate themselves so that even if it becomes a point that they can't stay with me, whether that's financial or they don't have the time, they've got those skills that they can take forward so they know how to fuel their body, fuel it for their workouts and their everyday life, but they can still enjoy themselves. They can still go out with their families. They can still, they can have a biscuit on an evening without it ruining all the progress. And that's a much better way to live than this. I'm going to do 6 weeks of chicken and broccoli and rice and then
And then crash,
that, and
basically.
then
Yeah.
binge and crash, because
Right.
then you're in this all or nothing mentality of, well, that worked and I look really lean and I look fantastic, and my old life didn't work. So I'm going to have to keep doing this. And that's just, it's not sustainable. And I want my clients to find a way to be sustainable and learn that food is about fuel, it's not about punishing.
So I hear so many things, and I think I was just watching something this morning too, that, these videos pop up on your phone, you're scrolling through social media, everybody's trying to give you a quick fix, all those types of things, right? And we won't even talk about the GLP-1 stuff or whatever, but like, is it still basically, and as women approach 40 and are in their 40s and they're entering perimenopause and they're going through all these things, is it as simple still as calories in versus calories out? what is, oh, and I obviously you mentioned protein, right? So that's kind of a thing right now, right? And throughout, like when we look at decades past, there's always like, there's all the different diets or fads, keto and, Atkins and like all of those things. Like how do you feel about those things? And like, what would you recommend? Even to me, like say we're talking about me, I've been focusing more on protein. I really need to jump into this really right now. And I'm generally not the one that has the all or nothing mentality on things, but I think I need a push. And obviously working with a coach, helps you with that a lot because it's accountability, right? And like, what would you recommend to someone that's like dipping their toe in the water and they're like, okay, I really need to change this. What is it? I need to lose weight. Is it just calories in versus calories out? Like, how would you start that?
I think it goes a bit deeper than that. On paper, yes, you could say it's calories in, calories out, but women, especially in the 30s, 40s, 50s, it becomes a lot more about the hormone balance. And I do advise a lot of my clients to go and get their hormones checked, because if it was as simple as calories in and calories out, some of my clients would see progress a hell of a lot quicker. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not that simple, and that's why I really push people to make sure they're getting the healthy fats in, because your fats really do help your hormones, and when we're talking about diets, I've had clients come to me, I don't know whether you've got these in America, like Slimming World and Weight Watchers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really big, and they'll come to me and say, I tried it, wasn't for me, it didn't work, I can't do it. And I think diets like that and Atkins and keto, they're all about removing something, so cutting something out. As soon
Right.
as you cut something out, you crave it. I mean, keto was developed for children with epilepsy. So I have big issues with keto, and I do have a lot of conversations with people about keto who say, "Oh, I've lost so much on keto and then it's stalled." It's like, because it wasn't designed as a fat loss tool. It was designed to help, young children with having fits, and it works for that. It can work for fat loss, but it does push your fats very high, and not the great fats. That it's not suggesting that you have things like olive oil that are good for your heart. In terms of Atkins, I mean, I don't know enough about Atkins. I know it was very,
Me either,
very
actually, really.
popular in the
Yes,
90s, wasn't
it
it?
was. Yes. I can remember as a kid, my mom trying any kind of thing that was happening. Yeah. And that being one
Atkins
of
and
them.
Slim
Yeah.
Fast were quite popular, weren't they? And again, meal replacement shakes, I don't like that because they tend to be quite high in sugar, like smoothies are. Smoothies like do the chewing for you, which releases
Mm-hmm.
all the sugar, which isn't great. I think if you were going to say I want a specific diet, I would say something like a Mediterranean diet, which is high
Mm-hmm.
in fish, it's high in your oily fish, it's high in your healthy fats. That's one that's been proven to be the most successful and help people into long life. And I say to a lot of my clients to be having oily fish at least twice a week, and they hate it and they don't want to have it. But I'm like, it's going to help you. And when you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s and you're struggling with your hormones, this is the places that you need to be looking for it. You don't want to be looking for a quick fix. And if you do need to go onto HRT and get hormone support, that's why I tell people to go to the doctors to get these things checked, to see if there's anything that can't be solved through diet, that can't be solved through exercise. We want to avoid people going on medication, but if it's going to help you, if you're trying to lose weight and that is going to help you alongside all of these other things like diet and exercise, then that's what we need to do. But it's never as simple as calories in, calories out. I wish it was.
Yeah. It felt like it used to be. And maybe it wasn't at the time, right? When we were in our 20s and it was pretty
Yeah.
simple. So I'm actually someone that suffers from polycystic ovarian syndrome. And that's always kind of been, another barrier, but I've done it, and if I were to go, or if anyone listening were to go to the doctor to get their hormones checked, what should they be asking to be checked specifically, or that you would recommend?
So they need a full blood count. You want things like your thyroid checking, your testosterone checking, your estrogen checking. But some doctors they'll do like a very high level um, hormone check, but you really need something really in depth. I haven't got specific knowledge on PCOS. I have another coach that I know really, really well who gets incredible results with women struggling with PCOS because it's something she's struggled with herself. But it can be a minefield, and like I say, it's things like that make it not a simple calories in, calories out issue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But again, not impossible. You just have to tweak what you're
Absolutely not.
doing and work around it. Yeah.
And getting a full blood count and knowing what your hormones levels are for
Yes.
each hormone is what will help.
Beautiful. So I want to dive a little bit in about your business too, and just being a mom. What is that number one? Actually, no. Well, I was going to say, what is your number one struggle with trying to build a business, being a mom? You're a single mom. I'm a single mom too. And it's like a whole other set of, I don't even know. I think we're just special people sometimes,
You're
just
right.
handling it all. I don't imagine, there's so many people that will say like, I don't know how you do it. And I just say, well, you do it because
You do.
you have to do it. But how's that been trying to build a business, being a mom, and handling it all?
It's really hard. I think, when you're not fully booked yet, you're not flying, you're not earning six figures. Not that I would want to earn that much, but you constantly feel like you need to be doing something on the business, don't you? So you should be sending DMs, or you should be sending an email, you should be doing something. And it's really hard to switch off. And I'm sure you feel the same because as soon as the kids go to bed, you're a bit like, I could relax, I could sit and watch a film, but I could also be creating this little bit of content here or
Hmm.
and I'm someone I've always struggled with being a perfectionist. When I was in the corporate world, I was a high flyer in a very KPI driven environment, and it's very clear whether you've passed or failed, whether you're good or not.
Right. Yeah.
And I was always someone who, when if I had that one bit of negative feedback that you should have done this differently, I'd spend all night going, well, I just need to quit my job. I just need to quit. I'm clearly terrible. But that translates into when you have your own business, it's like how do you qualify what success looks like? Is success being booked out, or is success being able to switch off 5 p.m. or switch off and play a game with your child and maybe take a breather because I can't take a breather yet.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I just recorded a podcast earlier this week with someone else, and we said the same thing about success, right? So, success is really what it is defined for, is, what you define it as. It doesn't have to be anything huge. But I think we hold ourselves to that standard, even if we're like, because for me, when I felt successful, or my definition of success for me was freedom. Freedom to be able to do what I wanted when I wanted, within reason, obviously. But that was like, I left my full-time job to focus on building my business and my brand. And that's when I knew like I could take a walk in the afternoon, and I'm not sitting in the four walls of an office, that felt like success. But there's so many of us that tie our confidence to like our bank account, right? Because we don't
Yes.
have enough clients yet. We're not making enough money yet. We're trying to get that to that next level. Meanwhile, we're helping all of these people. We have to make sure that we don't overlook what it is that we have accomplished. So I am almost afraid to ask you because I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, what is your definition of success for yourself? You have your why you needed to do this for yourself, right? To be there for your daughter and to, create something. I think we just are programmed in that way. So, what is your definition of success for you?
I think it's really hard because you don't want to tie it to money, you don't want to tie it to numbers. And maybe for some people it is, but I think success for me in this realm will be being able to be with my daughter when I need to be, and not being able to shut off at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., whatever I need to, but also being able to help women. And, I'm trying to create a community of women who all support each other, and I want that to be a thriving hub. We have things going on, we'll have like monthly challenges and stuff, but I want my the women that work with me to feel really supported and feel that they've
Hmm.
got somewhere, because I think a lot of people start on a fitness journey and their friends are like, why are you doing that? Or can't you just have a drink? And
Right.
it can feel like you're very alone. So I'm working really hard with the women that are in my community at the minute to ensure that they feel as though they've got the support, not just from me, but from all the other
Each
women that
other.
work.
Yeah.
on the journey together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's my mission too. I think it's like this movement that's happening, right? But there's so much room for so much growth, among each other. And I feel like, and maybe it's because we're in it and we're in that space that we feel that, but I certainly didn't feel this way 10 years ago, that women were like compelled to help each other. It didn't feel that way to me. And it could speak to my own growth, and the people that I'm meeting are in alignment with where I'm at now, right? So it just feels really good. And I think that's beautiful. I think what you're doing is amazing. Is there anything that you want to share? Like, where can people reach you? Where can they follow, and where can they reach you on social media, your website, anything that you can share?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. It's just my name, so Lucy-Anne Fitness Coach, and I try and regularly share bits of me and my daughter and the struggles we're having with bedtime and things.
Good times.
Yeah, things from my clients. I share all my challenges and things on there because I just want to try and help as many people as possible and provide as much support to people out there, because like you say, women need to be supporting each other, because
Yes.
the mental load's absolutely not getting any lighter. And strength training will definitely help with it though.
Yes, without a doubt. And that mind, like we said, that mind body connection, without a doubt, is probably the most powerful thing I think that we possess for ourselves. And there's so much mental health tied to moving your body and feeling good. And so anybody that can incorporate that into their week, I think would be definitely benefit from that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we got to have this conversation. I appreciate you coming on and finding me and initiating this, and I can't wait to see what happens next for you.
Thank you. No, I've really enjoyed coming on and speaking with you. So I hope it's useful to you and your listeners.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope this conversation with Lucy reminded you that taking care of your body isn't about perfection. It's about partnership. When we move, rest, and nourish ourselves with intention, we build the strength to show up fully in our lives, in our businesses, and our relationships. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need that reminder too. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and join me inside the Self-Love Club, our community where we keep these conversations going and turn insight into action. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for growing with me. And I'm thinking of you and sending you love, and I will see you soon.